Well, we're here in Boron, California, out at the Borax mine with Preston Chiaro, who's the CEO and President of Borax Worldwide. Do you feel any kind of a link to the original guys who started this, to Mr. Coleman, Mr. Smith, those guys?
I don't know how you cannot have that sort of historic link. Not only is the 20 Mule Team an icon of the American West, but it's core to our whole business. I mean, it's a symbol of the pioneering effort in the company, something that we try to continue today. We bring students here to this visitor center to show them the innovation of last century, and they can look just over the hill here and see the innovation of this century and look at modern mining techniques.
Well, to put together a 20 mule team, you really do need to have guys that know mules. And one of those guys is Freddy Valentino. We went out to Lancaster, California, and we met Freddy at his ranch there at Valentino Mules and talked to him about what it was like to work on a 20 mule team.
You told me you have a phrase about when you get up in the morning and you talk to your mules.
Yeah, I have that because I've been through it in real life, but I always have a discussion with my mules before I hitch them up. You work for me today, or do I work for you? That's as simple as it is.
Well, listen, we came out here and shot your mules that day for the film for the 20 Mule Team, and they were really frisky that morning. Do you remember that?
I remember it. Normally they're not quite that way, but here you are. You come out. It's just like going to visit some of your relatives, and the kids just get out and run and play, and that's just what they knew. There was a stranger out there, and they were just kind of showing off.
Well, I'm here in Bishop with Bobby Tanner, and Bobby has really brought back a lost art. And that art is the art of hitching up and driving a 20 mule team. Whatever got into you to try to hitch up 20 mules?
With the Mule Days as a place to display it, we decided a number of years ago to try to recreate the 20 mule team. But it wasn't until recently, with the support of U.S. Borax, which the Borax company put the 20 mule team in the Rose Parade, that we really spent a lot of time and tried to learn how to recreate it, try to be as authentic and operate the 20 mule team exactly as it had been over 100 years ago. And so it's through the appearance in the Rose Parade, with the support of Borax, that got us going with the 20 mule team, and using the Borax archives and reading as many accounts of the 20 mule team from years ago that we finally learned how to do it properly.
Somebody has said once, and we used this quote in the film, somebody said, a dumb mule, if there is such a thing, is smarter than a smart horse. What would you say to that?
I would agree with that. From working with the mules, there's just a huge difference. The mules have so much more personality. You often hear that people consider mules to be stubborn. We don't find that the case at all. We just find them that they're always thinking, and it's a case of learning how to outsmart the mules. And it's pretty easy to outsmart a horse, but outsmarting a mule's much more difficult. And I wouldn't say they're stubborn by any means. They're just very intelligent.
Ideally, you're driving this team with one line. I mean, that's the way it was supposed to have been done. That's what you have been recreating. Can you tell us a little bit about how that works, the jerk line?
I studied pictures and tried different things, and finally figured it out, and it works quite well. It's a single line to the front left lead animal, and you use the line to pull. Either a steady pull signals that lead animal to turn to the left, and a series of jerks on that line signals the animal to turn to the right, and that animal steers the mule next to it, which in turn those two mules steer the entire team, and it works very well.
Now, there's the one scene where we bring the wagons up, and then what happens?
We were trying to make a turn to demonstrate for the camera how the mules jump the chain, and we're out in the desert. And one thing we really didn't take into consideration is that we were on somewhat of a road in the desert. Since we made the turn, obviously it took us off the road into some very soft sand, and you lose a lot of the pulling power when you are making a turn. And so between making a turn and going off in the sand and losing the amount of pulling power, we kind of got stuck there for a few minutes, and the mules weren't very experienced. They didn't all pull together. They all have to work together to pull a heavy load like that.
One of the most important aspects in making a film, and certainly in the making of this film, was the music. And fortunately, I had the opportunity to run into two musicians several years ago, Ken and Phee Graydon.
Come load up your wagons, come hitch up your mules. Don't mind when the city folk call you damn fools. It's a life that we've chosen. We make the rules. We're the teamsters who haul them all day.
Let's talk about when we saw the 20 mule teams hitched up in Death Valley there for the first time. What was that like? What was the feeling like?
A step back in time to an era that doesn't exist anymore. The fact that there were 20 mules in a line doing one job, the way they would have done it now for entertainment, but the way they would have done it 100 years ago as a matter of labor, was just fascinating.
In order to get the shot that we wanted to get in the desert, we wanted to do more than just be up high with a tripod, because then we could only zoom in and out. We wanted to put the camera on a crane, and that's what you have here. The crane is called a shot maker, and it's that entire truck with the crane attached to it, so it's basically portable. You can take the crane pretty much anywhere you want to. And that's me in the ball cap with my cameraman or cinematographer or DP, director of photography, Stan McLean, and we're talking about how to get the shot. And we're actually talking to Bonnie, who is basically the assistant mule skinner. And she's telling us about how the mules are most comfortable. We wanted to be sure the camera wasn't going to distract them, and her response was about the blinders here, that the mules wouldn't be distracted.
And with we got blinders on them, so they may not care as much.
So the next thing was to determine how we were actually going to shoot it. Were we going to pull out and up, just pull the camera straight back, or were we going to pull it back and then pull it up? And we kind of decided to do a combination of both.
And let's just do a straight arm with no pan on it. Okay, just a straight arm up. Straight arm up. Yeah. Okay, straight arm up. Yeah. Okay. That's good. Okay. All right. So let's do a rehearsal.
And you'll see here that we do the rehearsal, and here's the rehearsal with the wagons going by, and there's the crane there getting the shot up above, and then we'll show you the shot that we actually got with that angle. And here's the shot here with close in on the mules, and then that crane pulls farther back. You can see the crane, or you can feel it anyway, pulling back and pulling up to get the overhead shot ultimately of the mule skinner on the mule driving the team. And that is how we got the shot.